Here we are again. 47-yard try, his longest attempt of the game. He has missed his last. Back. Ball.
What in the fuck is going on, everyone? Big news. We are back. All right. We are back. Week 1 of football has came and gone. We made it through. We are back. I am joined here with Spencer, the Guru. Spence, how you doing, man?
Yo, what's happening, Blake? I am doing great, man. I am excited to get this show on the road, man. Week 1, whoo, man. I was like a kid on Christmas morning getting that show on the road, and I got the big ass present with my Saints getting that fat Week 1 38-3 W over Aaron Rodgers, bitch ass. Go home, buddy. gotta talk some smack here, man. That was awesome, man. That was awesome, and then had a solid fantasy week 2. It didn't go quite as well as the Saints. You know, I had some leagues where I took some lumps with injuries and guys just not performing. But hey, overall, it was a great time, man. I'm excited, man. Thanks for having me tonight.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for hopping on. A lot of people that frequently listen to the show know that I kind of fade out after football fades out. I do a couple things on some other shows, but once football starts back up again, I mean, I'm one of those guys where, like, in my opinion, I started off doing a little bit of baseball, but we're here for football. We all know it. So once football fades out, I kind of fade out with it a little bit. I'll do a couple off-season things here and there. And then now we're back, and we are in the full swing of things, weekly episodes, weekly guests, a lot of things coming. But with all that being said, we're going to be running down a little bit of Week 1, taking a brief little look at Week 2, maybe throwing some fantasy suggestions in here and there. So let's start off with first game that kicked us off this year. Tampa Bay beats the Cowboys 31-29. I will say this, from my perspective, Cowboys didn't look too bad. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a blowout, which kind of surprised me. But I don't know. What were you thinking?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. You know, I was thinking the smart money was going to be to bet Tampa Bay, which I almost did, but I don't know. Something was telling me, like, I don't know. I don't know if this game's going to be quite the lock that some are thinking. And sure enough, I'm glad I kept my chips by me because I didn't go all in with Tampa. I was like, man, I'm not betting on Tampa. I was like, I'm a Saints fan. I'm not betting on Brady. I was like, I don't want to. And sure enough, Dallas hangs with them, and really, they should have won. I mean, they did everything they should have done. They won the turnover battle. Dak played his ass off. A great performance there. Good. It's just, man, TB12, though, man, on those fourth quarter comebacks. I don't know. There's something about it. He has that aura, man. It's hard to explain. I try to be like, I try to just kind of write it off as it's luck or whatever, but it's not. He's that good on that. I mean, and he was making some freaking long throws in that game. He made that beautiful pass to Antonio Brown there. And I mean, I can't stand him either, but I mean, shoot, I gotta admit when people show out, I mean, both of these teams showed out. I mean, I don't like either one of them, but hey, I was impressed by the game. It was a fun game to watch. A lot of fantasy points scored. Had a lot of Chris Godwin shares, so I was happy to see him go off. But yeah, Dallas, though, if I'm a Dallas fan, I'm not too mad because the defense, while it wasn't great, it was against arguably the best offense in football, and their offense showed out. The only thing that was disappointing was Zeke, you know. But I mean, Tampa Bay is the best run defense.
That's a tough defensive front, man.
Yeah,
that was it was definitely a interesting game to watch because it was like I was waiting for something to happen, you know, astronomical on the ground game for either team. Predominantly looking for Zeke to do something, but it was aired out. I mean,
yeah, it was fun. It was fun, man.
Good game.
Yeah, it really was. They had a lot of good games this week, man. I'm sure we'll get to all of them. I mean, shit, the Monday night game was a hell of a game. It was a lot of weird stuff, but I mean, it was fun. It's just, yeah, the Thursday night, though, was a great way to kick off the season. A lot of times those openers on Thursday, sometimes they can end up a doozy, you know, especially like I remember that one year it was like the Bears and the Packers. Like neither team could get out of their own way. It was like Rodgers started slow, and then the Bears, it was like Mitchell Trubisky just was like a freaking idiot out there. So yeah, it was brutal, but it was nice to see. Another thing about Dak. Also, I mean, not just the fact that he performed, but also big ups to him for getting back out there, coming off that serious ankle injury like that, and not showing any gun shyness or side effects from that. I mean, he didn't run all that much, which I knew going into this year. I was like, yeah, for those that draft Dak, don't expect him to get his usual rushing, which is why I wasn't as high on him. But man, he did so well as a passer. It's like, shoot, he's still a QB1, even if he doesn't run all that much. Because they got all those weapons there. Amari Cooper, CD Lamb, even the tight ends there aren't too bad. They got weapons. That offense is real. They've got to get a run game established, though. I mean, McCarthy, I know in this game, I don't blame him for unleashing Dak, but you can't be having that happen every week. You don't want it to be a repeat of last year. Although, hey, I don't like Dallas, so I wouldn't be mad if it's a repeat of last year. They can score all the points they want. If they go 1-4 or whatever to start because they can't play defense, well, too bad.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I will say
good for fantasy. Good more
right. I will say I was shocked at how comfortable Dak did look in the pocket. He did, like you said, he didn't show any signs of like having the yips or anything, which obviously if you're a Cowboy fan, you're probably like, hey, all right. Because usually guys that come back lower body injuries, you see yips a little bit because they're nervous, they're not comfortable in the pocket. So that was nice to see. But yeah, their offense looked extremely one-dimensional, which is not how you win football games. I will say that. No matter, whatever. But you got arguably one of the best running backs in the NFL, and he didn't really do shit, and he didn't look that good. So
yeah, the O-line I think still a little concerning, especially with Zach Martin out there, Pro Bowl guard. So yeah, they got work to do there. They just, I think that they still could, especially now with Fitzmagic went down for Washington. I still think Dallas might win the division just kind of by default because it's like nobody else there is worth a damn. I mean, I feel like the Eagles though might make some noise. They played defense. I mean, they shut Atlanta down and Jalen Hurts looked the part. And even though, Washington, they played defense, they limited the Chargers. The only team there that looked really bad was the Giants. Man, the Giants just looked like total like a garbage can. But yeah, no, if I'm a Dallas fan, I'm not too upset. Everyone was clowning them. They're like, oh, Dallas, I've never seen a team so happy after a loss. They're just counting moral victories at this point. I
mean, given the viewpoints that everyone had going into that game, if I'm a Cowboy fan, I'm like, all right, shit, we hung in it. So that's all that matters.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they covered the spread. If you bet on Dallas, I mean, they covered. So it was a good one, man.
Next one. This one surprised me a little bit. Miami goes into New England and wins 17-16. Obviously, that fumble on the 10-yard line inside of 4 minutes didn't help anything on New England's side.
Belichick as a Damian Harris RIP to his fantasy stock.
That's you saw some kind of, I would say, more uncharacteristic things out of New England. You don't see a lot of their mistakes made, like that fumble on the 10. I also saw someone. God, where did I see it? I forgot where I saw it, but someone was talking about the penalties too. Compared to usual. I don't know. New England, I'm worried if I'm a New England fan personally. I know it's only week 1, but still, it's one of those things. I don't know.
Yeah, they're gonna have some growing pains. I mean, they got a rookie quarterback there with Mac Jones. They don't have the talent that they used to. They're a work in progress. I still think they're a sneaky contender. So I think their defense is strong. I mean, their defense wasn't the issue. It's just their offense was a big work in progress. That's why to me, anyone that was picking them over the Bills. I know the Bills lost to your Steelers this week, which, I mean, but the Steelers, though, that's a legit, they're still a contender. I mean, so the Bills, I wouldn't be panicking if I'm a Bills fan. I'm still liking the Bills because, I mean, with Josh Allen, they have so much of a better offense than the Patriots. I mean, anyone picking the Patriots was a bunch of people are on the Mac Jones train. I'm like, yo, pump the brakes. Mac Jones is not that talented. Like, Josh Allen, I think that Buffalo, I still convinced they're going to wipe the floor with New England. I don't see New England coming anywhere close to the division. Maybe a wild card, but the division, y'all smoking, man. That's nuts. There's no way New England's going to win the division with Mac Jones. I don't think there's any way that happens. In the running game, I mean, Harris did pretty well, but he fumbled, though. We know how Belichick is with that, so he's probably going to get – I don't think he'll get benched per se, but I think he'll get his workload reduced. And it's like, and then they're going to go back to that ugly committee. Their receiving core is real suspect. I mean, Aguilar did well, but if he's your number one receiver, that's not very good. I mean, look at he was the Raiders guy last year, although they had Darren Waller, the baller. So it's not like Aguilar they had Waller at least. I know New England's got a Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, but I said this all season. I was like, I don't know why they spent so much money on those two. I mean, they're both.
I agree.
They're both solid tight ends, but neither one are elite. Why did you go and spend the amount of money they spent on them? I bet the two of them combined make just as much or more than Kelsey. And to me, Kelsey is way more valuable than the two of them. Like, it's just,
I didn't Hunter Henry through a whole season first before.
Yeah. And he's not even that good. Like, I mean, last year he made it through the season and he was very blah. He was like one of those, if you had him and you probably would start him just because he'd be like that 5 catches for 50 yards. And it's not like the waiver wire really had much else worth a damn, but it was like, it's not somebody that you want to, it's not somebody you pay big money to, I don't feel like. And then Jonnu too, I don't really feel is worth it. Neither one was that productive in week 1. So I was impressed though with some of the Dolphins. I mean, Jalen Waddle had a nice week 1. I had him in one of my 2 flex leagues. He did well. And Will Fuller will be back this week. Devontae Parker showed out. Tua wasn't great, but he did his part. He did what he needed to do to get him the win. He didn't lose the game.
Win, man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was in Brian Flores, man. I think I picked the Patriots second before the season, but shoot, this might be recency bias talking. But at this point, I mean, they just went and beat New England. I think they might be a little bit more of a threat to Buffalo than the damn Patriots.
Yeah, right. I thought it was interesting too, right? That that Miami defense consistently shows out. I mean that Miami defense is fucking good, dude.
Yeah, and they play Buffalo this week, so that'll be a good test for them. I had streamed them in some leagues, and they did okay. I'm probably gonna. I'm not betting on them though against Buffalo this week. I'm not saying Buffalo's gonna wipe the floor with them, but I do think they'll score at least 30 points to where, like, I don't think Miami's gonna. They're not gonna be worth it for fantasy defense wise, but I think Waddle could have another good week this week. Parker and then Fuller. I mean, it's gonna be a little. Target's going to be a little muddied, and it's just the only Dolphin that I'd say gets a big stock down is a tight end, Mike Gesicki. He didn't show out, and it's disturbing because they have other guys. They had drafted a guy, and then they have this other tight end. I don't know if Gesicki now with Waddle there and then Fuller coming back, I think Gesicki might end up falling through the cracks.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. No doubt.
But it's not like anyone took Gesicki real high in their draft. So if you have him, you can – just keep him on your bench, or I'd even at this point, I feel like Cole Kmet or Tyler Higbee are available in your league. I wouldn't even be opposed to cutting bait with Gesicki.
Yeah, I agree with that. I took Kmet on one of my teams real late though.
Yeah, I like him. And in the Saints tight end situation, I know it's a 2 tight end system right now, but Jawan Johnson, y'all, he's the one I'm really liking right now. Caught 2 touchdowns, 2 really great catches at that, made like acrobatic Jimmy Graham type catches. Yeah. So I'm thinking moving forward, he might see more snaps, more so than Adam Troutman, because Adam Troutman had a crucial drop. So, which I'm sure we'll get to that later with the Saints game. But yeah, it's just for those that need a tight end in fantasy, keep an eye on some of those names.
Hell yeah. Next game, you referred to this team as a dumpster. Denver beats the dumpster Giants 27-13. I mean,
Danny Dimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
good for Teddy. Teddy B goes in, gets a win, right? He ends up picking up a W, but I gotta say, he picked up a W against a team that I'm not sure knows what the fuck is going on at this point.
Yeah, dude, they suck ass, man. The Giants are they're one of those teams they knew. But I will say this about them. Saquon, if Saquon could just get healthier, they could maybe be a little more of a threat. The thing is, though, I'm not very confident that he will. I'm starting to think Saquon is just going to be. He's a great talent, but the way it's looking, he might end up with a lot of untapped potential that never gets fulfilled. I hate to say that, but man, I've stayed away from him in fantasy. I'm glad I did. I think he'll have a few good weeks as the year goes on, but I don't think he'll be very consistent, though, because the O-line there isn't good. So I don't think the offense is going to ever get in a rhythm, and Danny Dimes isn't the kind of quarterback that's going to be able to overcome that. So I'm going to wait. I'm just Shepard did good, but I'm not buying it. A lot of people are going to run to the wire for Shepard. Y'all let them go have him. I'm not touching Shepard.
I don't touch any of the Giants personally.
Yeah, I mean,
I never bet on the Giants ever.
No. I mean, even when they had Eli, they were kind of like they were just one of these teams. Yeah, they caught lightning in the bottle a couple times, but overall, they weren't that good. I mean, I remember the days of Hakeem Nicks, Victor Cruz.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Victor Cruz was pretty nice in his prime, but overall, there were a lot of disappointments there. Overall, it was, and it's continued. It's actually gotten worse with Jones because he is just not very good. The Denver, though, I was impressed with their showing. Jerry Jeudy, though, man, he was looking so nice, and then has to hurt himself. I'm like, oh, bro, I'm
so bummed, dude. I have him on one of my teams, and I was really banking on him to be my wide receiver too, solid wide receiver too.
Yeah, and he was looking the part, and
then he goes down, and I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, because Sutton didn't look too good coming off surgery. A lot of the guys coming off knee surgery struggled, like Saquon. Odell didn't even play. Sutton struggled. That's what I was telling people. These guys coming off ACL surgery, you gotta keep a close eye on that. I mean, a lot of times you start off slow with that. You start off slow, especially if you're a skill player like Joe Burrow did fine. I mean, he's a quarterback. He didn't have to run all that. Right. But guys like Saquon, Sutton, they have to put in those hard cuts, like cut and get past defenders. I mean, that's really hard on the knee. I mean, so I don't know. Those guys, it might be a few weeks before they're their old self. So with Denver, hey, for those in deep release, KJ Hamler, that's the name I'm watching. KJ Hamler, the little deep threat there. I think Teddy Bridge, I mean, shoot, he was able to, Robbie Anderson, I know Teddy's not a deep ball guy, but he made Robbie Anderson pretty nice for fantasy last year. And DJ Moore, they both are pretty good. So I think he's going to be able to make KJ Hamler pretty nice, even if Hamler is not just straight fly routes. I think he might be able to do some dump ball, get some yak yards. Like I like Hamler more so than Tim Patrick because that's the other name to watch. But I think Hamler, and then Noah Fant, the tight end, did well. I think he's the real deal because the Giants, Evan Ingram didn't even play. Him and Rudolph. That's a huge stay away. Do not even mess with that tight end group. They are brutal, but Denver's defense showed out there without Bradley Chubb and still did well. I know you had mentioned you had Chubb in an IDP league, which hopefully he'll come back because that defense there is looking pretty ferocious. And I know it was against the Giants, but I think they're the kind of defense that you're not going to want to face them too much. I think they actually could be the biggest threat to Kansas City because I know the Raiders and Chargers won this week, which I think the Chargers are a threat too. The Raiders, I think, are fool's gold, but I think Denver with that defense, they could maybe rattle Mahomes. They could be a dark horse there.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that I did want to touch on with this game, did you see Joe Judge throw the challenge flag on that scoring play?
No, I didn't actually. What did he do?
Oh my! Okay, so and this is exactly what
another dumpster fire. Well, he's the lead. He's the leader of the dumpster. He's King Dumpster.
Dude, I legit was watching. I watched this happen on Sunday, and I was sitting in my living room alone, dying laughing. So Ao, as I call him, tight end over in Denver. I can't pronounce his last name.
Oh,
ever.
the second string guy, the long name. Yeah, I can't think of it either.
I call him Ao because first name's
Yeah.
Albert, last name starts with an
Gotcha.
O. So Ao catches a pass. He's going down the sideline, dives, right, hits the pylon, and it's a scoring play. So obviously, scoring plays are always reviewed. Like, they're always reviewed no matter what. You don't have to throw a challenge flag. Dude, Joe Judge in the third quarter threw a challenge flag on a fucking scoring play.
Oh, my God.
Obviously, they're like, what the hell are you doing? Like, the refs, it was so funny because the refs are like talking to him and like, you could see him explaining it. Like, dude, we review the plays. You don't have to throw the challenge flags. Like, they're all reviewed. It's a scoring play. Dude, the Giants got charged a timeout in the third quarter for that.
Oh, my gosh. What an idiot. He gets the bozo of the week for that. Oh, my gosh. That is embarrassing, bro.
Bro, I was laughing so hard I couldn't believe it because so I was watching Red Zone. I was bopping back and forth between games and Red Zone. So at this point, I'm looking at Red Zone and it pops up and he throws the flag and I was sitting there just looking. I was like, oh no, he didn't. Has the red flag in his hand, throws it on the field on a scoring play. I was like, oh my God, dude. How do you not know that as an NFL coach?
Jesus.
I'm sitting in a recliner in the middle of Wisconsin. And I can tell you that I have to throw the fucking challenge flag because it's reviewed already. Come on.
Oh, that is just now we see why it's a trickle down effect. Now we see why the Giants suck so bad. the leadership there, it's just man, that's just oh man, sorry the Giants fans. Y'all better buckle up. It's gonna be a long fucking season for y'all. I'm sorry to break it to y'all, but that's awful.
I was laughing so hard too because I was like, dude, if you play Madden, you can't even challenge a scoring play in Madden. What makes you think you can, in the real NFL, be like, yep, this seems like a good opportunity to throw the red flag?
Yeah, it was probably a rage thing. He was probably like, oh, bullshit. And like, he threw it like it's like, dude, you can't, you gotta be more rational than that. You're a head coach. You're the one that's supposed to you're the one that's like the leader of the ship. Like, you're like the captain and you turn in the ship and you're like, you're like, dude, you're the one that's supposed to be steady in it. You're not the one that's supposed to wreck the damn thing. Holy shit.
I want to know what the guys in his headset were saying that were looking at the replays up top. Like, they had to be in the microphone like, Joe, what the fuck are you doing, dude? You can't throw the flag. What the hell are you doing? And he's fucking lost.
Next quarter of that to be yelling, tell Joe not to throw the damn challenge.
Oh man, that was ugly. That pretty much capped off the Giants for Sunday, I thought, because I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen for an NFL coach to do. Joe Judge takes the cake for the weekend, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Yeah, one more note I like to throw in about this one. The Broncos running game, y'all don't panic about Javonte Williams. I know a lot of Javonte Williams fantasy owners are concerned about Melvin Gordon out producing him, but listen, the only reason it was because Melvin Gordon ripped off a 70-yard run. Well, I believe it was late in the game. It didn't really mean anything. If it wasn't for that, Javonte's would have been just as good or better. I agree. So Melvin, I'm still not feeling Melvin. Javonte's the guy to own there. He's the superior talent. He's younger, fresher. Yeah, and they get the Jags this week, so it should be a nice shake-back opportunity for him.
True. Next game on the list. This was a really interesting game, I thought. San Francisco beats Detroit 41-33.
Another shootout.
This game was nuts, dude. I remember I talked to Bogart about this game actually yesterday. I called him later on in the day, and I was like, dude, were you shitting down your leg? He's like, yeah. He's like, a little bit. Because, I mean, you're up. I mean, they were up, what, 30-something to 10, 38-10, something like that.
Yeah, look, it was over. Yeah, one of those, games just let's call off the dogs type games.
Right, and then all of a sudden, right, Detroit scores. Onside kick bounces off of George Kittle's face. They score again. Onside kick, San Francisco recovers. All they need is a first down to essentially melt the game away on the clock. Who was it? Was it Deebo Samuels, I believe?
Oh,
caught,
Debo went off in this. Oh my god.
but he caught like a pass later on in the game. Could have just went down after getting the first down, gets the ball punched out. Detroit gets the ball down
Oh,
8.
okay.
And
Yeah, I kind of quit paying attention to this game. So yeah, I didn't realize. Oh, I didn't realize all of what went down to allow Detroit to come back.
oh, dude, it was crazy. This was like an instance where I think it was interesting if you're a Detroit fan.
Yeah, he kept fighting. You know, Dan
Yeah.
Campbell, former Saints assistant, I think he's just instilling a culture of don't quit over there. You know, because that's normally Detroit. They fold up like a cheap suit. But the fact that they kept fighting, I know there's no moral victories like we said earlier with Dallas, but shoot, Detroit that's such a starred franchise. Hey, I'll give them a moral victory here. They kept fighting hard, and they deserve to not. I mean, obviously you took the L, but don't beat yourself up. You did all you could do.
Right. And I think that's what was really interesting because, like you said, a normal Detroit team would just, all right, let's
Pack
fucking
it in,
mail it in, call it a day. We got smoked again.
Yeah.
But it was
Yep.
interesting to watch them continue to fight, continue to battle back.
Mhm.
That being said, I mean, San Francisco, aside from, I think they got a little complacent at the end, really, and that's just what happened. But and you're facing a team that was going to continue to fight. But San Francisco looked pretty goddamn good at the first part of this game up until roughly the fourth quarter. About halfway through the fourth quarter. First little bit, though, I thought it was interesting. Jimmy G obviously showed out. Trey Lance had a touchdown pass randomly in the middle of the game.
That was nice to see. I love Trey Lance.
Yeah. I am curious to see how long Jimmy G keeps his starting job over there.
I think he'll keep it longer than Andy Dalton. I can tell you that. At least Jimmy G did it for fucking Andy Dalton. That dude's a joke, man. Like,
Yeah.
what is like Matt Nagy? Matt Nagy is guy. We talk about Joe Judge being stupid. Well, Matt Nagy's right up there with him. I mean, those guys are just. I don't know. I don't know how they can. How are they NFL head coaches? It's like, I mean, shoot, I know we're we're in our recliners, but it's like, shoot, sometimes I feel like I could do better than these.
Yeah, right.
Like, what are y'all doing, man?
Get me a headset right now. Let's go.
I know. I mean, I might not always call the right plays, but I think I could handle personnel. Like I would know like what personnel to have in there. I feel like some of these coaches, I think it's like they get tied to certain players, and for some reason Nagy is just like has a Andy Dalton love fest. I don't know if it's he has a thing for redheads and the red rifles. Like got him. Oh, Andy, I cannot sit Andy. That's like he just can't do it, man. It'll break his heart to sit Andy. I mean, if I'm Justin Fields, I'm like, bruh, like what more do I have to do? Like I'm clearly the superior talent. I'm the future. Like I'm the present. He's really the present. I mean, he should be their quarterback. Like I don't know what's going on there, but I think
agree.
which I mean, I'm sure we'll get to that one later. With Lance and Garoppolo, though, I feel like Garoppolo, as long as the 49ers are winning, he'll stay. But they're already getting injuries piling up. Mostert's done for the year. Jason Verrett's done for the year. So with all the injuries, I think the 49ers, they could be in for a little rocky road these next few weeks. I'm trying to think who do they play this coming week, BWB? I think they play somebody pretty tough. If I'm remembering right, they might fall if they fall this week and then the week after, because they're in that NFC West, man. NFC West, everybody's want to know that division is a gauntlet. I mean, everybody there is fucking nice. I mean, everyone plays defense. Everyone has a quarterback. It's just like I don't even know how that defense is real. Like, I mean, that division is real. Like all those teams are just stacked.
They played the Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles. Oh, well, they'll probably be able to skirt out another one. So it's like, hey, if let's see their I say as long as they keep winning, then they'll probably keep it. But guess who they get week 3? Green Bay. It looks like they get Green Bay week 3, and we know Aaron Rodgers. He's gonna have a chip on his shoulder after getting embarrassed here to start the year. Though if Green Bay beats them, like if they get embarrassed by Green Bay, and that's on national TV, if they get embarrassed on national TV, I think there's a good chance we'll be seeing Trey Lance under center full time come week 4.
I could 100% agree with that. I think it'll be interesting because the mindset of Jimmy G has to be like, dude, as soon as I start losing, they're gonna start. We want Trey.
Yeah, look at the Bears. I mean, they got spanked, and then everyone's saying, "We want Justin." I mean, that's just how it is, man. So as long as they keep winning, he's safe. But once they lose, I'm serious. I think once they lose, I think it's only going to just take one L. As crazy that's how I think that once they lose a game, that's it. Jimmy G's done. Take a chance on Lance.
Take a chance on Lance.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Next game. The squad goes in and gets a week win W.
Steel
Pittsburgh
curtain,
beats
baby.
Buffalo 23-16. I'll say this as a Steelers fan, the offense looked fucking terrible in the first half. I'm sitting here watching the game, and I'm just like, God damn, are we going to score at all today, or are we just going to be shut out? We're not moving the ball. We're not even getting over the 50 fucking yard line at this point. We looked bad. We looked really bad. But end up taking care of business, blocking a punt, which obviously helps us out. Defense, I think, showed out. That is not a Buffalo offense. Now, I think they didn't play up to what I thought they would as far as the offense. Offense didn't look bad, but I just think given Buffalo's offense and the firepower that's there, they didn't play up to as high of a standard as I thought they would. But that being said, Pittsburgh defense looked pretty good. Take away W.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's defense looked great. I mean, they had the block punt. T.J. Watt was chasing down Josh Allen. He just got paid. So yeah, if I'm a Steelers fan like you, Blake, I'm really excited to know that the defense is still there. Some people even want to act like the Steelers defense might not be the real deal, but they proved themselves. I mean, the Bills, you can make a case of the best offense in the league outside of Kansas City. And they were contained. I mean, Josh Allen wasn't able to just run all over them and throw all over them. I mean, they did their thing. And, they had offense, like he had mentioned, a concern. I know we had talked off air about Big Ben. Big Ben is just not somebody that I'm buying right now. I know it's probably his last year, so you want to think, he's going to be all in. It's his last season. But it's just, I think physically his arm is just shot. Like, he doesn't have the arm strength that he did. And that used to be one of his biggest strength was his arm. He could fire, and Big Ben Roethlisberger, he'd sit back there and sling it. Where nowadays it's like he check down Roethlisberger. Yeah. I mean, with freaking Juju, Deontay. I mean, yeah, they get peppered with targets, but it's all these just like little dink and dunks, and it's Claypool didn't do all that much. With Ben not having the oomph to get it down there. So I'm a little concerned about that. I think Pittsburgh's going to have to win with defense, which they did so last year, but it kind of
bit us in the ass later on in the year.
That's it's like normally you think, defense later in the year works, but I mean, in today's NFL, it's like, it's not quite as much like that anymore because offenses are the way they built these offenses nowadays. They still seem to be able to put up a lot of points even late in the year. Like it used to be more based off defense, but nowadays it's you got to have both. And they got exposed last year down the stretch, and I don't know, man. I'm thinking Ben. I think it's just a little. I think he'll get on a stretch where he does a little bit better. I'm not saying he's going to suck this bad this game, but I will say this: the offensive line has got to get a little better there too, because Najee Harris didn't seem to have much room to run either. So that's just
it seems like.
I know, and it's very concerning, honestly. So it's good that defensively, special teams y'all look set, but man, the offense, they're Buffalo on the other hand. Buffalo looked. I mean, I know the offense kind of struggled, but they had their usual amount of yards. I think what hell, it was just one of those games where, I mean, I know you're probably not going to hear this, man, but I think Pittsburgh just they had all the circumstances to go to where they got all the breaks, the turnovers. Their way. They got that block punt. It's just, if it wasn't for all that, Buffalo was the better team. I mean, Pittsburgh, yeah, they won, and they've still got time. I mean, it's only week one, but I mean, they've got a lot of work to do. This Pittsburgh team they're not anywhere close to being a Super Bowl contender right now.
They what's interesting though is, I know, like when we were talking about it off air, like I've been saying it. Anyone that listens to my show frequently knows this. I've been saying this for damn near I've had this show for almost 2 years now, I guess. And And the entire time I've had this show, I've said it time and time again, and I told you this when we were off air. Pittsburgh has to begin to plan for life without Big Ben.
Right.
And we continue to not do that. And that's what worries me the most because, like I said, I told you off air, I was like, well, I'm cool with him starting for right now because we don't have anyone else who can throw the rock.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah, it's kind of just there by default.
Yeah, right.
Not like Dwayne Haskins is going to take his job. I mean,
right.
Shoot.
It's one of those things, dude, where I really, really hope we begin to plan for that. But they've disappointed me for the last 2 years I've had this show. So
yeah, I think it's I think Ben will probably retire after this year, like we were saying, and they'll be forced to at that point. They won't have a choice. Ben will be gone. Like they got to do something then. What are you gonna do? Try to get him to come out of retirement? Like, damn, you gotta move on. Got to get you a new signal call.
Yeah. But hey, I'm glad we paid TJ Watt. That made me happy.
Oh yeah,
he
y'all are strong on defense. Yep, for sure. And that's just if Ben like, I mean, Drew Brees last year was still, before he got the broken ribs, was still, even with his reduced arm strength, was able to do pretty well. So, shoot, I mean, if Ben could just do a little bit better, then y'all would have a better shot. It's just, man, well, that was kind of scary how it was a lot of struggling, but shoot, it could get better. It could get better. I'm not trying to say he's like the worst thing. Hey, he's better than Danny Dimes. I'll say that. I know it's not saying much, shit. But at least he's I don't know. It's I think it could be okay. I'm not panicking about Pittsburgh, but I guess my main point though is Buffalo definitely shouldn't panic. You know, Buffalo I think is just fine. Their defense was solid, and the receiver, they got a whole mess of receivers there with Diggs being good. A lot of people are like, oh, Diggs sucked. Like, not really. I mean, yeah, he didn't do his usual output, but he still caught a lot of passes, got a decent amount of yards. I mean, he still had like 15 fantasy points in PPR. So, I mean, shoot, if that's sucking, then, hey, he set the bar pretty high. Same with Josh Allen. Everybody say, oh, Josh Allen sucked. I'm like, oh, shoot, he still threw for like over 250 yards and ran for 40 yards. I mean, that's not his usual standard, but shit, that's not the worst in the world. I mean, it's not like he's just fell off the map.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Next game, interesting. Sam Darnold takes down his former team.
The old Sammy D against the Jets. Oh yeah. I'll say this about that one. He did his part. He did what he needed to do to win, but he didn't really impress me. He didn't have like that like statement game. Like, yeah, I'm that dude. He just kind of like, yeah, I got my win. You know, we got our first, but it was like almost like kind of nervous. Like he
looked like Sam Darnold did.
Exactly. He's not really like an alpha presence under center. He's a real, just kind of like a guy that he's got potential. Sometimes he'll show flashes, but in other times he just seems real, like not very confident. Just kind of like, I don't know, just somebody that he just seems like he's like kind of overwhelmed, a little overmatched at times. So he needs to he's got a great play caller in Joe Brady there in Carolina. He's got a lot of weapons, great weapons, Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. So he's got no more excuses. Like with the Jets, he can use the excuse, oh, Adam Gase ruined me. Adam Gase, no weapons, no line, blah, blah, blah. He could give a lot. And it was like, okay, it's warranted. Yeah, you didn't have much to work with. But here, no excuses. Like, this is no excuses, Sammy. If you don't produce in Carolina, then your ass is going to be a backup quarterback. You're going to be a clipboard holder the rest of your career. You're going to be the next Blake Bortles or something, because if you can't succeed with this group, then you're not that dude. I mean, look at Teddy Bridgewater last year. He had everything in his lap, and they shipped him out of town. So I think they're kind of doing that right now. I think they're just trying to just give different guys a shot. And then I think that they really wanted Deshaun Watson, but with all his legal stuff, it didn't work out. So Sammy D was like their consolation prize. And they figured, well, we'll give him a chance. We'll give him a chance. And if he's really good, well, we'll keep him. If he sucks, well, we'll move on and draft somebody or maybe get Watson next year if they drop the charges.
Yeah. I will say this, though. CMC is back.
Oh, yeah. That was nice to see, man. CMC. That's amazing. I touched on that on my articles. I actually just started a new gig with NOLA.com, writing fantasy articles.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about that. You know, little. It's actually within the same company I'd been working for, so I was able to kind of get some fantasy stuff in with my current work. So I was excited about that. And I didn't want to. They asked me to write a column like things I learned this week, or like, I mean, this is like one of those things like it wasn't like it was kind of obvious this point. I mean, about CMC, it was just like CMC is the man. Like, oh, you learn with CMC, like, he doesn't even need to score a touchdown. He had 27 fantasy points with no touchdowns. I mean, he just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He doesn't even need to find the end zone. It's like, fuck it, man. He can just throw him the ball 10 times. He'll do stuff with it. He'll get as long as he gets the touches, like. He's so efficient with them. It's unbelievable. Normally you think, oh, those volume guys are going to wear down and they won't be so efficient. Yeah, they'll get the volume, but the efficiency is going to suck. Well, he gets them both. He's the king of volume and efficiency.
Yeah, right.
And he's normally a great red zone guy. Last year, he only played 3 games. I think he scored like 7 touchdowns in 3 games. So those will come too. He's on another planet right now.
Yeah,
on a whole nother planet. It's unbelievable.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
He has that presence. He's on the field and it's like, you got to pay attention to him. You can't just ignore him and pay attention like Robbie Anderson or something like that. Like, that's how guys like Robbie Anderson end up streaking down the field like he did for that touchdown.
Yeah, DJ Moore. Anyway, yeah, it helps stretch the field. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sam Darnold might have hope because with teams keying in on CMC, which I'm like this coming week, that's who my Saints play. Like, if I'm the Saints, I'm just like, we're not letting Christian McCaffrey beat us. You know, key in on him. But the problem with that is you leave yourself a little vulnerable. You probably play the DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson man to man. And like, if your safeties are more focused on McCaffrey, it could lead if the corner gets burned and they're going to streak all the way for the touchdown. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. They've got all the stuff in place, man. Carolina could be scary, which is why I'm not taking them lightly this week, but I will say I'm not scared of them though, because I'm not all in with Darnold. I still think Darnold's kind of what's holding them back.
Yeah. The one thing I did think was interesting though, obviously Zach Attack over in, New Jersey, technically. First half was really lackluster.
Oh, brutal. Yeah, it was tale of 2 halves. Tale of 2 halves. At least he got going in the second half. I have him in a super flex league. I'm going to be forced to use him with I had Fitzmagic who went down. So I'm going to be forced to Zach Attack, which I think he'll be okay moving forward, but I don't know. I feel like he's still a little raw. I don't think he's not going to come out firing like Trevor Lawrence or like I'll say, yeah, Jones didn't really come out firing. I mean, Fields and Lance, I think, will once they win the job. Zach Attack, though, I think is going to take a little while, but I think he'll have his moments. It's just they gotta get some sort of running game. And the Jets' running game was absolutely trash.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Butt cheeks, man. It's so bad. It's Tevin Coleman, gross. God. Ty Johnson, gross. Shoot, even my man Michael Carter crapped the bed. That was sad to see. I thought Carter was going to break out, but he's got a lot of work to do.
Oh, shit. Next, Philadelphia smokes Hotlanta 32-6.
Oh, yeah, Matt Ryan, get out of here. Yeah, we call him, we mess with him in the, we call him Matty Slush. They all say Matty, I used to say Matty Slush. Boy, he was real slushy in this one. My gosh. Destroyed 32-6. Holy shit.
I mean, it wasn't really much of a game. Jalen Hurts looked good. Devontae Smith had a touchdown grab.
Yeah, that was encouraging to see. Jalen Hurts, that was somebody early in the offseason. I liked him a lot. And as the offseason went on, I started buying into I don't think he's just not a very good passer. That's going to catch up to him. I know the Falcons are a crap defense, but man, he looked good, man. He looked like he was making his throws and he was running. Like, man, I may have missed on that one. Well, I was originally in on him, but then I shifted and I pivoted and was like, I'm not drafting Jalen Hurts, which maybe I'll end up right, but I mean, so far I'm wrong because he killed it. And I mean, he offers that rushing floor. And if he's just a somewhat competent passer, and he's got weapons there with Smith and Rager and Goddard, I think Hurts could easily finish as a QB1 there because he's got it. He's got that dual threat ability. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson. He's not a great passer and still able to produce. I mean, Hurts Hurts honestly could maybe end up even a better version. And I don't think he'll run quite as much as Lamar, but he might end up a better passer. And shoot, if he gets that going like he did in week 1, he could be scary.
Oh, I agree. I thought, like you said, obviously Atlanta's defense is nothing to write home about, but at least you see that flash of Jalen Hurts this weekend where it's like, okay, maybe Philadelphia has their guy potentially. I mean, it could be an overreaction, but maybe you got your guy here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Week 1 is typically best not to overreact. So I'm gonna chalk this one up as they were facing the Falcons. I'm not buying Philly. Sorry, Philly fan. I'll bump y'all up to 3rd. I picked them last before the season. I'll bump y'all up to 3rd. It's pretty safe to say the Giants are destined for the cellar in that division. But Philly,
Jesus Christ, the Giants are bad.
Yes, but Philly, yeah, y'all are in first place right now. Enjoy it while it lasts, but I don't think it's for real. I mean, Atlanta just was a train wreck. I don't think Philly's defense is quite what it once was, and then with Hurts there, I think that offense is still a work in progress. Still a lot of young guys. I mean, Smith, Rager, both very young. Hurts, obviously very young. Miles Sanders, solid, but not a true workhorse. Goddard is solid, but I don't think he's quite in that elite tight end territory. Ertz, his best days are behind him, their O-line's not that great. So let's not overreact with Philly. I'm glad they smoked Atlanta. I always like seeing the Dirty Birds get smoked. I mean, they're our biggest rival, but Philly though, it's easy to buy it because you see it and you're like, man, they look good. Hurts has it all. Like, especially for fantasy, it's easy to want to be like, man, Hurts is that dude. He's a top 5 quarterback. Yeah. But I just feel like, though, look what happened last year with it. Yeah, Hurts had like a 2 or 3 week run where he was great, and then when it all came crumbling down, he got benched.
That's true.
and don't forget, y'all, they traded for Gardner Minshew late. Like, if they were so confident in Hurts, would they have done that? I don't know. To me, that kind of tells me they're still not 100% sold on Hurts. So I'm for now, obviously, he's a QB1, so keep him. If you took that plunge, keep him, in your lineups. But just he might be a good sell high candidate. If you're able to pull off a trade, you could trade it. You get a quarterback that started slow, like a Herbert or something. I'd go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely take Herbert over Hurts all day.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so who's the best of the second-year QBs? Hurts. I mean, Burrow looked good too, but I'd still take Herbert, man. Herbert's that dude.
I took Herbert over
a tough defense.
I took Herbert over all those guys last year with the expectations that he was going to start eventually. And he did, thank God. Else it
quicker
than
usual. Thanks to the freaking idiot on the Chargers medical team. I'm sure we'll get to this game soon, but man, big ups to Tyrod Taylor, man. But everyone said they were trash. Houston sucked. Then Coach David Culley, man, they put Urban in his place, man. Urban Meyer, like I'm not even putting that on Trevor Lawrence. That's 100% Urban Meyer's fault, dude. You came in unprepared. You thought it was college football, dude. Go back to the fucking drawing board, man. This is the NFL. This is big boy football. This ain't college ball.
I agree. Next one, we got Seattle beats Indianapolis 28-16. I'll say this: the Indianapolis Colts. I'll say this: Carson Wentz, in my opinion, was not a guy that lost his football game. He did his role. He played his role, I should say. He played pretty well, I thought. But overall, Colts defense, man, Ty Lockett was basically alone on the field. I felt like that's a problem.
Yeah, he dusted them. Yeah, because Xavier Rhodes was out, so that really hurt the Colts defense. So yeah, they struggled big time. I mean, they competed though. I mean, their running backs Taylor and Hines were all right. I think Wentz though. I knew Wentz was gonna struggle. I saw this coming. Everyone was like, "Oh, Wentz is back. That's good." I'm like, "Well, is it really?" I mean, he's coming off freaking major foot injury, and the dude's always hurt. I don't know, man. And I mean, their defense, their defense is solid, but with Rhodes out there, their deep ball coverage was very suspect, and sure enough, Russ took
But killed him.
advantage of that. Russ
yeah.
took advantage of that, took the top off. I mean, he's got arguably the prettiest deep ball outside of Mahomes. So yeah, I'm
one of the most accurate deep ball passers in the league, if not the most as well.
yeah, exactly.
And he exposed that defense.
Oh yeah, he sure did. Yeah, kind of like, man, I gotta say Matthew Stafford was throwing some bombs there in the
Yeah.
Rams game. And then I mean Rodgers when he's right's a great deep ball guy, you know. So those are different ones. But yeah, Russ is just DK did pretty solid. Lockett obviously went off. You know, DK I still think's the one to own there for fantasy. Lockett I think's gonna another sell high. We mentioned sell high candidates. Add Tyler Lockett to that list. Sell high now. It's try to trade him while he's high. Don't think this is the norm. We all know the drill now with Tyler Lockett. He's the ultimate yo-yo. He's just up, down, up, down. What next week he'll probably catch 1 for 10 yards. I mean, that dude is just he is so inconsistent. It's sickening. I remember the year I had him a couple of years ago. I was like, maybe he's finally breaking out. But then I had him. It was just a headache. It was like 1 week he was great. Next week he was horrible. So last year I was like, I'm not touching him. And he had a decent year, but I was thinking like, man, looking at his game chart, I'm glad I stayed away. It was just a headache, and I think that's just how he is, man. That's just how he is. I got Chris Carson did good too, though. Their running game, Penny got hurt again. Another one we mentioned about Wentz always hurt. Penny, Lord, that
Jesus.
So I mean, that dude he needs to just retire. I mean, his body can't handle it, man. It's a shame. I think Carson there is he's the horse. He's the workhorse, man. He's a rock solid RB2. He's that guy that you always. If you draft him, he's not a sexy pick, but man, if you draft him, you know he's going to produce.
He's going to get the workload for sure.
Yeah, he's going to put up just rock solid numbers, man. Rock solid numbers. Yep.
Which in fantasy football, that's really all you're looking for at this point.
You're from your RB2, you just want a solid producer. Yeah, and that division. I mean, their defense was solid, but like it could have maybe done a little better considering the circumstances. The Colts offense was beat up. So I think Seattle might struggle in that NFC West. I think
that NFC West looked good.
Gauntlet. That's such a gauntlet, man. Yep. I think Russ is gonna have a really nice year for fantasy because they're gonna be in some shootouts.
Oh, I agree. Let's see. KC takes down Cleveland. 33-29. What were your thoughts on this one?
That was another hell of a game. That was a really good one. Great shootout. Yeah, Baker. Kind of felt bad for Baker, man. He was leading them back. He was without his best weapon in Odell and then threw the pick. He kind of I kind of feel bad for him, but he is kind of cocky. So I was kind of like, kind of laughing. But I just, it's just then that's the difference. I think Mahomes through all his success, man. And then once again, he's so successful. And I think it's because he's not only super talented, but he's also got the right mindset. He's super humble. He's always hungry. Like he's just bred to be great. He's got that GOAT gene. Like he's just got it, man. It's just
GOAT gene.
He really does, man. It's just like Baker is just he isn't quite there yet. I mean, he's progressing. I don't know if he'll ever get to that level, but he's getting better. I'll give him credit, but. I mean, when you're facing Mahomes, it's like you gotta really switch into another gear because this dude, I mean, he is just something. I mean, and I know they're both great weapons, but he only has 2 weapons lately. It's usually just Hill and Kelsey. That's it. I mean, we've been waiting on Hardman. Everyone's thinking Hardman will break out, but we haven't really seen much of Hardman. I mean, when Sammy Watkins left, no one else really stepped up. So, I mean, the Browns knew who to try to stop, but they couldn't do it, and that's true with most defenses. They know they've got to key in on Kelsey and Hill, but, I mean, they're unstoppable. It's unbelievable. I mean, I was roasting people that did the Kelsey Hill stack, but looking back on it, I was like, shoot, I mean, that's actually pretty nice because even if your running backs are trash, you have elite production in the bank every week from your WR1 and tight end every week. Yeah, it's just like, I mean, I did a
Mahomes Hill stack.
Oh shoot, that's awesome. Yeah, it's just fun having that group because it's like what you're getting there, and they just. I mean, I know they're not going to do this every week, but most weeks they will.
Right.
And and Nick Chubb, shout out to Nick Chubb. I have him in a lot of leagues. I know you had mentioned you had traded him, but I'm glad I didn't because he's somebody that in that run-heavy Stefanski offense. Cleveland, they're going to win most weeks because most weeks they're obviously not going to have to face Mahomes. So they're going to be able to control the rock, control the clock with Chubb and Hunt, and they're just going to pound it, man. They're just going to pound it, and Chubb I think he's primed to be a top 5 running back this year.
I'll say this, and I'm going to try not to be a homer here. The Cleveland Browns are a team. I never thought I'd say this. Cleveland Browns are a team that worry me this year.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'd be more worried about them than Baltimore, man. With all the injuries Baltimore suffered, I'd be much more worried about the Brownies. The Brownies look scary. I know they took the lump this week, but shoot, they're the real deal.
I mean, at the end of the day, the Browns weren't playing they weren't playing the fucking Giants. So
yeah,
they were playing a good team. And and for the most part, what it comes down to, honestly, is that Kansas City consistently proves that they are a team that is never out of a football game, ever.
No.
And you saw it again, down 22-10 or 22-10, come back and completely handle the second half and take the game away.
Yep.
And that's just what that team does. But the Browns look good. The Browns look good still.
Oh, yeah, they did, man. That was a fun game, and then they didn't even have Odell, so I was thinking Odell might show out. But, yeah, Jarvis did good. Yeah, Jarvis had a good game. The tight end group was solid. Baker was all right. So, yeah, it was a pretty good showing from them overall. But, yeah, Kansas City. The only disappointment from Kansas City was CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He didn't really do too much.
Yeah, I got him on one of my teams. I was pretty upset.
Yeah, I think he'll do if he can get better in the red zone. That was his bugaboo last year, but if he can find the end zone more, then yeah, he'll be fine. It's just I'm glad I don't have too much Clyde stock because he's somebody like if you're giving me the choice Gibson or Clyde, I was like, shoot, give me Gibson. I mean, Gibson just seemed to have the nose for the end zone.
Yeah, I agree. I took CEH. Actually, he was the first running back I took in one of my league. The one team I have him on, I took him actually fairly late. He was like one of the only starting running backs left on the board, believe it or not. And I was like, I'll pick him up because at this point, I don't even have a goddamn running back. And he's
that's your Mahomes Hill league?
It is not, actually. I don't think so. Let me double check it.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, man, they need to have like a lot of Chiefs. And I don't know, one league and one guy has literally the trio, Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey.
Oh, that's fucking deadly. Yeah, no, my Mahomes and Tyreek Hill league, I have this is the league I had J.K. Dobbins, and then he got hurt, so I dropped him, and I picked up Philip Lindsay. That's who I started this week. 8.5 points.
Brutal.
Yeah, 8.5 points. I still won, but I have David Montgomery on that team.
Okay, yeah, he's solid. I'm sure we'll get to that game soon. He's the Bears. That was their lone bright spot, I'd say.
Right. I have Clyde. I have Clyde and Mahomes on one team, but I don't have Hill. Clyde got me 10 points.
Gotcha.
I have Myles Gaskin as my RB2. But that's another league where I went, because it's the super flex, I went, and no kicker either. No kicker. I went wide receiver heavy. So it's like.
Oh, I love no kicker. I wish all leagues would say no kicker.
Yeah. I went wide receiver heavy. Although for my one league, I'm in one league that requires a kicker. I took Evan McPherson from the Bengals.
Hey, he had the game-winning kick.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, he's low-key kind of decent, so I'm going to take him. I took him, and I did that. That was a live draft like this. Like, we were all on, like, a Zoom call live drafting. And I was like, it was like the last round. I was like, man, I hope no one takes my kicker. And they were like, why are you so excited for a kicker? I was like, I don't know. I got a good feeling about him. And, he showed out a little bit. He had a good game. Good for him.
Good deal.
What did he get me? He got me 11 points as a kicker. That's not bad. I'll take it.
Well, any kind of kicker gets you double digits. That's a positive.
Right, exactly. Next game. Your Saints.
Who that?
fucking demolished the Packers.
Yes, sir.
What were your thoughts on this game? I mean, Jesus Christ, what a fucking boat
Let's
race.
go. Yeah, let me put that on here real quick. I can just see, man, that we just we kicked ass, baby. It was just a good old ass whooping, man. That was so fun to watch. It was so fun to watch, man. It was just from start to finish. Like even the finish was nice. I mean, just being able to Jordan Love, even smack Jordan Love around a little bit too. That was fun. It was just like, it's just always fun whenever your team not only wins but dominates. It always makes it a little sweeter. And then that was just like, it was just the word of boat races. I mean, man, it just man,
boat races.
Boat races. I was like boat races. That's a new word. Boat races.
Man.
All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was incredible, man. We just freaking boat race. We lapped them. It was boat race, but we came in, knocked it, sunk them, then lit it again. That was fun, man. And I guess to get back to reality here, that I'm on my cloud 9 right now, the Saints fan. My analysis. Let me take that off here. I can get my analysis back. So I feel like, offensively, the offense was very efficient. It wasn't real flashy, through there. Jameis Winston didn't even have 200 yards passing, but he threw 5 touchdowns. So he had a great day in real life and fantasy, and he really utilized the tight ends. I was impressed with the way he did that. Jawan Johnson, the big tight end, caught 2 touchdowns. Troutman was the tight end. A lot of people are hyping up Adam Troutman. He did okay too. He had a crucial drop though, man. That just, oh man, it was such a good game. It was like that drop really. It's like, damn, Troutman's like, if he wouldn't have dropped that pass, we had a perfect game. He lost it. It's like you get a 99 out of 100, and it was on a group project. And you look back, it's like, you're the motherfucker that cost us 100. Like, that's Troutman. It's like everything was great except for that drop. It's like, damn, man. But anyway, that was a fun game because Marquez Callaway, who got drafted in a bunch of leagues, and rightfully so, because I still think he'll have a really strong start to the season as long as he's not having to get shadowed by freaking Jair Alexander, which is what happened Sunday. That was another kind of like disappointment. But shoot, he didn't. I mean, it wasn't his fault. He just wasn't targeted much because he was blanketed. Deontay Harris, though, the deep guy, man, our punt returner, special teams guy. He's like our Tyreek Hill, man. Deontay Harris, he does it all. He can take the top off the defense. He's just so freaking fast. He's kind of injury prone. That's why a lot of people don't know about him. But when he's healthy, man, he is a stud. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm feeling really good because even more so, it's the trenches, man. We dominated in the trenches, which is how the whole thing started. We wouldn't have won 38-3 if it wasn't for dominating in the trenches. Jameis wouldn't have been able to do what he did had the front 7 on defense and, the offensive line being strong. Had all that not materialized, it would have, this wouldn't have been able to happen. I mean, Jameis did well, but he had the support. As long as the support is there for Jameis will be just fine because he didn't have the support in Tampa Bay. He had to do everything himself or at least try to, and it would end badly. So I think as long as he has the support, things are going to continue to go well in New Orleans. So it was like the trenches, as long as they keep staying strong in the trenches, or, it's all good, man. I'm trying not to, like, I feel like part of me as a fan, like, I'll worry, like, I'm like, is there something else to nitpick? But I mean, there's really isn't. I mean, they played a flawless game, like, other than the Troutman drop. And I mean, like the Callaway wasn't his fault because, I mean, Jair Alexander is ridiculous. And the Green Bay, the only thing I can say about Green Bay, I feel like I know a lot of people are chalking it up to as Aaron Rodgers being unprepared, which, I mean, it might be somewhat warranted being that he took a bunch of time off this offseason and was being kind of fussy about not getting his way and all that. But I think it was, give the Saints defense credit, man. We freaking rattled him, man. He rattled him. And, man, there's something about playing in Florida that doesn't sit well with him. So if anything, it was right. Like I was thinking, we're not going to be in the dome. This sucks. We're not going to have our true home field advantage. But hey, we had the tropical advantage playing in Jacksonville because freaking Rodgers he can't. I don't know what it is. He struggles in Tampa Bay, and then he struggled in this. He just like he's a weird. He's real like it's like he's mental. He's like if certain mental circumstances aren't right, he folds up, and he's not a good comeback quarterback. As evidence, he just packed it in. He sat on his ass in the fourth quarter. He's like, here, Jordan, you can do it. I'm done, man. I'm done. I'm done. Like it's
Yeah.
just, it was embarrassing, very embarrassing
ass
on
kicking
his
is what
part.
it
Yeah,
was.
it was embarrassing. I mean, it wasn't. We embarrassed him in week one, and it's just, it always feels you never want to be the one that gets embarrassed. But I mean, obviously, so I'm like, but hey, I'm gonna talk shit because like whenever we get embarrassed, I have to hear it from everybody. Like, you say it sucks. Yeah. So you know what? When we embarrass somebody, I'm gonna run my mouth because I already know how it's gonna. It's so it goes both ways, and I know that's all in good fun. So yeah, I'm just enjoying it, man. It was fun. It was a fun victory, bro.
I will say, so obviously me being in Wisconsin, we kind of touched on this. Man,
unhappy folks.
it felt good because like at the dealership that I work at, for those of you who don't know, I sell cars full time. So at the dealership I work at, everyone's a Green Bay fan. So when I went in, I mean, I'm the only one that's got a squad with a W in week one. So I go in and obviously they talk shit to me when my squad loses. And I go in and I was just like, come into work Monday. I'm like, hey, what's up? What's up? Talking to people, turn around. I'm like, tough game week one, huh? And they're like, oh, Jesus, fuck, dude. They're all freaking out. But they're all pissed off. But it's like, dude, I mean, it was ugly. But I'll say this too. God damn it. This is why I wanted Jameis Winston. I have been on the Jameis train for a while. I always said I wanted him in Pittsburgh, and we didn't take him. And I'm really upset about it because he looked solid week one. Now, granted, still week one, but he looked solid, dude. He was making more reads than usual. He looked like he could see clearly. So the LASIK did some work there. Like he looked composed and he made his reads, which is so key. Because he used to be such a number one target. I'm gonna stare down. You're not open. I'm probably still going to throw it.
Yep.
But like he made his reads. He went through his progressions and he looked good, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, he even ran a little bit too, and which was nice. And speaking of the read thing, I noticed that there were a couple times where he did lock on to his primary read when they had a guy wide open over the middle. And he locked onto his deep read, and I think it may have got bailed out with a pass interference or something, so it didn't end up hurt. But I remember thinking, I was like, damn, Jameis, you can't lock onto your primary read like that. That was something where Drew Brees would have been able to audible and scan and then hit his second read. But I'm not complaining, though, because he did show much improvement in that regard. There were a lot of times where I noticed where he was able to not lock on to that primary read and be able to scan it, because that's tough to do. That's what separates the men from the boys at quarterback, because like any quarterback can, if a quarterback's super talented, like they can do the primary read, but you also got at the NFL level, you've got to be cerebral too and be able to not only do that, but you got to be able to withstand the pressure and scan the field on the fly. I mean, and which can be really tough. I mean, especially when you got big 250-pound lineman coming at you like bats out of hell. So it's like, but Jameis, he did well. He held his weight. He did his part. He complimented, as I say, in the trenches, complimented him, and then he complimented the trenches, man. It was a win-win. They complimented each other. Great job all the way around. And it led to, anyone that started him in fantasy, bravo. He put up like 30-something points. I had him in my best ball league, actually. It was my quarterbacks for him, Herbert, and Teddy B. And it's funny, Jameis and Teddy B outscored Herbert.
There you go. So next we have, I really hope people understand, because I put a kind of a little hashtag on this one because I think it's funny. The LA Rams, they beats the hashtag Bears down. 34-14. Bear down. Matt Stafford. Hey.
Incredible. Another guy in his debut with a team like Jameis in his Saints debut, Stafford in his Rams debut. Straight fire. That was fun to watch.
Fun to watch. So happy for Matt Stafford, because that is a guy that has been, in my opinion, overlooked so much because the team he's on, they're always getting fucking beat in Detroit. And now he's in LA and he looked fucking good.
Yes, and he looked healthy. Yeah, because with Detroit, he'd get battered, man. He had back problems, and they had no support for him, which is why I'm going back to I don't know if we touched the Jags, with Trevor Lawrence. I'm worried about Trevor Lawrence's long-term future because man, they freaking Jags, they look horrible right now. So I mean, and Stafford, man, he had to put up with years of that. Oh, a decade of that just misery in Detroit. That's why I picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl because I feel like this is you've had this. It's like you've had like the big dog, right? And you keep him locked up in the kennel at Detroit. He's just locked up, and you finally let him out. Of course, he's gonna go run around and go get the ball. Of course, he's gonna be the big dog. He's gonna be like, "Woo woo, I'm free, I'm ready to go." And that's exactly what he did. He had a great performance, slinging it down the field, great downfield. For Cooper Kupp and him had a great connection. Glad to have Cooper Kupp shares in fantasy football. He's primed and ready to have a huge year. I feel like. Even Bobby Trees, while Bobby Trees didn't see the targets that he normally does, he caught the touchdown there, and I think he'll get better as time goes on. Him and Stafford will build up that chemistry, and Higbee was encouraging. Darrell Henderson found the end zone and was solid. So that Rams offense, they looked the part. They absolutely they actually put the Bear down. They pushed them down. It wasn't even close. 20-point beat down there. But I will say this: the Bears, it was their own fault, man. We talked about it off air about
it is their own fault.
Matt, I think on the show actually we were saying we talked about it earlier on the show about how much of an idiot Matt Nagy is for not putting in Justin Fields, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, Justin Fields would have at least kept this game, I feel like, a little more competitive. And he ended up scoring one of the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, dude.
Him and Montgomery. I mean, Dalton has no business being on the field. I don't know what the deal is. I guess with Matt Nagy is these guys. He's got like his like secret crush on Dalton or something. But it's like, dude, do what's better for the team. Like, if you like, man, let Andy. Andy looked good holding the clipboard. Let him hold the clipboard. Justin needs to be the one out there on the field, man.
I agree.
Fields on the field. His name is Fields. That's where he belongs.
I agree. Justin Fields has got to be the guy, right? Like you gotta throw him in there, but it wasn't. I don't know, dude. It's bad coaching over there, in my opinion.
Yep. And I guarantee you this week, I'll make matters worse for the Bears. I guarantee you Nagy's going to be like, oh, we got to give Dalton a chance to get his revenge game because they're playing the freaking Bengals. Well, guess what? I'm putting my chips on Joe Burrow. I'm picking the Bengals go 2-0 and the Bears fall to 0-2. I'm thinking Burrow whoops up on Dalton this week. I'm thinking that could get ugly. I think Chase goes off because the Bears, that's the thing. The Bears' deep secondary looked so bad. Like they were giving up deep ball after deep ball. So I'm thinking Burrow is going to really do well this week. I know they normally think at Chicago. I think it's in Chicago. Normally you think, oh, well, that's a brutal matchup for Cincinnati. But the Bears' defense looked very soft in week 1. And I know it's McVay, but I think McVay set the blueprint to show like this is how you beat the Bears. You take the top off of them, and that's exactly what Joe Burrow is good at, especially now that he's got his best friend back in Jamar Chase.
Right, dude, and Jamar Chase. That's an interesting topic because he caught the football, so that was nice to see.
Yeah, didn't need the white stripes on it. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, so I'm happy for Stafford. It's a good thing he got out of Detroit. Jared Goff, though, we'll get into that shortly. Or actually, we already got into it.
Yeah, he's garbage time king, Jared Goff. I don't know if we mentioned him. T.J. Hawkinson, man. T.J. Hawkinson.
Oh, I got me some TJ shares.
I do too, man.
I had him last year too.
He's my most owned tight end in fantasy. And on Bogart and Hustler show the other day, we had to make bold predictions. They want to hit me. I'm like, man, I'm normally not one for bold predictions, but I got one for y'all. TJ Hawkinson finishes as this year's number 1 tight end.
I love me some TJ, man.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, it's like looking back on it, I was like, man, it's going to be tough for him to obviously outscore Kelsey and even Waller. I mean, Waller's a stud too. I mean, but I'll tell you what, I think Hawkinson's definitely going to outscore Kittle. And if they're down by 30 every game, he'll probably rack up enough to where like
targets.
I think he could catch him. I don't know. I mean, you never know. I think it's possible. I don't think it's as crazy as some of the takes that were said there. I think mine. I mean, we were all crazy. We all gave crazy hot takes. That was the point of the show. But I feel like Hawk finishes the number one tight end. That one might actually work.
I had Hawkinson last year. I took him last year real early.
Yeah,
too,
he was pretty solid. He was disappointed as a rookie, and a lot of people got off of him. But last year he had a big second year leap, and I think he'll have an even bigger leap this year.
The next one. Hats off to Chandler Jones.
Man, 5 sacks.
Oh
Are you kidding me?
Talk about a goddamn force on the defense.
Jeez, I think J.J. Watt's presence really helps there because they can't like double team Chandler Jones. Now they have J.J. Watt there. Chandler Jones is able to just go in one man. Please get out my way.
Taylor Lewan, who boy?
Yeah, at least Lewan, he was on it. He owned up to it and said they got embarrassed. So I think Tennessee will be okay. I think they'll be okay. That's a team. I talked about them today with somebody. They're good. You know, actually, yeah, on the show today, I was on a show with my buddy Greg Larner, who's in Chattanooga with a Tennessee Chattanooga ESPN affiliate out there. And they had a guy that called up, what are y'all thoughts on the Titans? And I was saying, like, they have a lot of Titans fans up there being near Nashville. So I was like, yeah, I'm not concerned about Tennessee because I think Arizona's the real deal. I think Tennessee just had a little bit of growing pains. You know, new OC, Arthur Smith's gone. So they're going to have some growing pains there. I think they need to obviously give King Henry to rock more. And Tannehill just need to pick his spots. And then Julio's going to get more involved. A.J. Brown. I mean, A.J. did solid. Julio had a rocky debut, though. So it's
I agree. That worried me, too, because I took it doesn't worry me because I didn't take Julio, but I guess I should say it worries me because I like Julio, but at the same time, I was kind of like, okay, I made the right choice because I was gonna take Julio and I decided not to. I did take AJ Green though, late, real late. Let me start. Let me say that real late.
I was like, for the car, yeah, because I say the Cardinal, man, they showed out with a guy that I know, obviously DeAndre Hopkins. We don't need to talk much about him. We know what the deal is there. He's an elite WR1 top 5 guy. Nuke Skywalker, as our boy Bogey calls him, and rightfully so. He's that dude. And then Christian Kirk caught 2 touchdowns. That caught my eye. He did really well, but
I got Christian Kirk too, actually.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I was say I don't mind Christian Kirk, but this is the name. I'm telling y'all, mark this down. This is the name that I'm thinking is going to really break out. He's a rookie. Rondale Moore, y'all. Rondale Moore. He's a guy, Cliff Kingsbury. They specifically targeted him high in the draft. He's a guy, he's really flashy, explosive. I think with Kyler he's going to be in line for another step forward this year. With Kyler taking another step forward, look for Rondale Moore to become the number 2 at Hopkins. I think Kirk will do well too. AJ Green, I feel like it's going to get phased out. I don't think he'll do all that great this year. I feel like his best days are behind him, but I just feel like Rondale and Kirk and Hopkins, that's going to be a scary offense. And the defense looks scary too. Like, I just, that division's such a gauntlet. I mean, I hate to be, if I'm a Cardinals fan, yeah, I'm pumped, but I look at the division, I'm just like, fuck, man.
Tough.
It's
it's
awful. It's like, what do we do? It's like we do our part, but we're in this gauntlet of a division. So it's like, but this is their time to prove it. You know, this is their time. If they're the real deal, I mean, this is Kyler's 3rd year. A lot of quarterbacks take a leap in year 3. So if Kyler's the real deal, then hey, this is his time to shine.
I have so actually it's funny. So between Arizona Cardinals wide receivers, I have everyone but goddamn DeAndre Hopkins because last year I had D-Hop. And
I didn't get him this year either because I felt like I felt like he wasn't quite as strong as like Diggs and Adams and those guys, but he's elite.
Yeah, I had him last year, and now this year, he was going so early, man. I couldn't make a good enough move on him, so I literally took everyone around him with the expectations of maybe these other guys will get some targets here and there. Christian Kirk, though, I was super happy with him because he's a guy that I had last year as well. I had Christian Kirk as well. in a couple of leagues, and he's one of those guys that I think is a sleeper consistently. I feel like no one really talks about him, no one really pays attention to him in fantasy leagues. But like Christian Kirk, shit, I got him late in a couple of my drafts, like real late. And I was like, I'm gonna take Christian Kirk, and then he puts up 2 touchdowns, and I was like, hell yeah, man.
Yep.
That's what we want to see.
Oh yeah, you love to see it, baby. Like I said, I'm not for waiver wire, like it's tough because it's like, if you don't claim Kirk this week, he's gonna go. But I don't know, something about Rondale Moore. I'm intrigued there. I'm intrigued. I'm a sucker for upside, but I feel like that's a lot of times that's the way leagues are won. You gotta go for the guys with upside, and Kirk, I know I don't know. I think because last year, man, I feel like he's somebody that, he'll have his moments, but you say you have all 3, right?
Yeah, I have all 3.
Okay, well, I would say this. I would say,
but these are on different teams. But
okay. I'll say 3. This would be, if you have all 3 Cardinals, this would be my recommendation. Keep Rondale Moore, cut AJ Green, trade Christian Kirk, because I think I don't think Christian Kirk's gonna keep this up. So I would try to, if you could get somebody a little more reliable, I would recommend trading him, sell high. AJ Green, like I said, I feel his explosiveness looks sapped. Yeah, he might catch a touchdown some weeks, but he's going to be like their tight end. I feel like they don't really use a tight end, but AJ Green he's going to be their Gronk. He's going to be their Gronk, their tight end, not as fast, kind of lost a step, but he'll probably catch some touchdowns. But Rondale Moore, I'm telling you, that's their secret weapon, man. That guy pick him up, or if you have him, keep him. Extremely
explosive.
Keep him stashed if you have him, or add him.
Yeah, because I think, let me check, because I have the team pulled up with Rondale Moore right now. So I have Rondale Moore. So I have Rondale Moore and AJ Green on the same team. They were both on my bench last week because my other wide receivers are. I played Juju. I knew I shouldn't have, but I also have Jamar Chase and I have Gronk. I just put in a waiver claim with Henry Ruggs, so I think I put in a waiver claim. Henry Ruggs, pick up Robbie Anderson, I believe is what I did. Next up, the Chargers beat the Washington football team 20-16.
Yeah, that was just one of those just kind of games. I mean, both teams solid on defense. Nobody really put up big offensive numbers, but yeah, it was a good showing by both. I feel like they both showed that they're I don't know. I mean, they're not like Super Bowl contenders at this point, but they're both teams that are you don't want to catch them, like you don't want to be caught slipping against them. They're both formidable squads.
I thought Heineke impressed me a little bit.
Yeah, he did well in relief of Fitzmagic. Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it was one of those games where I was like, because at this point, when this game was going on, like I said, all day Sunday, I was going back and forth between like specific games and red zone. And when this game came up on red zone every time, I was like, I mean, I don't really give a damn either way. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I like Herbert. It was just fantasy. I like Herbert, Eckler, Gibson, which, I mean, they all did. Yeah, I mean, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams both did pretty well. They both had nice PPR outings, which goes to show that Herbert, even when he's not throwing the touchdowns like usual, which I think he'll get back to that. He had a tough matchup this week. But even in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams still have solid floors. And we knew Keenan Allen did, but it was really nice to see Mike Williams actually have a nice floor type game. Normally Mike Williams is a guy that thrives when the game's a high scoring game. But if he thrived in a game like this, that tells me that Mike Williams has flex value moving forward with WR2 upside. And of course, Keenan Allen's locked in. And Scary Terry was able to redeem himself with Taylor Heineke. He was ghosted in the first half, but had a great second half. And then Gibson had a solid day. Logan Thomas caught a touchdown. So yeah, it was this game was, like I said, nothing special, but nothing bad. Austin Eckler played. We were concerned about his hamstring. I was scared that he might be a late inactive, but luckily he played and did decent. He didn't put up his usual numbers, but he did find the end zone to salvage his day. So it was pretty good. Just kind of one of those but not bad.
Yeah, it's I will say this: Mike Williams immediately at the start of the game when I'm seeing him, he drops a couple balls, and I'm like, oh my god, here we
Yeah,
go.
here we go
It's
again. Yeah.
fucking Mike Williams, fucking another year. But he
No,
finally
he
picks it up a little bit.
disappointment.
Yeah,
But yeah, he
finally
did.
picked
Yeah, he
it
had a
up.
nice game. Yeah, he really did. Glad they kept the trust in him. Some coaches are like, bench him, but no, he's talented, man. If he could ever just put it all together, he's one of those big receivers from Clemson. So if he could put it together, he's got a lot of upside.
And Larry Roundtree didn't look too bad either. Kind of relieving Eckler a little bit here and there. So it'll be an interesting to see how both teams play out. Week 1 game was like we both kind of said, one of those where it's like, but it will be interesting to see how it plays out. This game was fucking crazy.
Yes.
Houston, who we all thought would get just spanked all year long, in my opinion. Shocks, believe it or not, a team shocked Jacksonville this year. That was Houston. Comes out on top, 37-21. Trevor Lawrence with 3 interceptions. But we kind of alluded to it earlier, right? Urban Meyer, in my opinion, just got out coached. I 100% agree with your mindset on that. Like Urban Meyer, this is the NFL.
He dropped the ball. Yeah, David Culley, man, big shout out to David Culley. He's a grinder type coach. He's been an assistant for years with different teams. If you go way back, he was an assistant quarterbacks coach for where I went to college, University of Louisiana Lafayette, which back then was known as Southwestern Louisiana, USL. We're now UL back there. He was a coach of us when we were USL. So, like, man, David Culley's got a lot of skins on the wall type thing. He's been everywhere. He's been like, he's paid his dues, and it showed. Urban Meyer, I don't think he's got really any NFL background. I think this is his first year in the NFL, and he's trying to be like a big time head coach, and he gets Trevor Lawrence thinking that's going to solve all his problems. Well, guess what? It's deeper than Trevor Lawrence. You've got to be strong in the trenches. I mean, and Sean Payton's grown to know that. Sean Payton's been a Saints coach, now a head coach. He had been in the NFL prior to that. He's probably been in the NFL over 20 years, so he knows how it works. Urban Meyer, I mean, he's used to that college crap 7-on-7 a lot of times. Like, I mean, I know the Big Ten's not as bad as like the Big 12, but it's still, I mean, it's college football. It's not the pro level, so it's like, right. I feel like they really got exposed Sunday. Trevor's got to be probably shaking his head like, man, this is going to be a long season if we don't get the trenches fixed.
Well, and what's interesting about Trevor Lawrence too, he showed, even Trevor, in my opinion, showed some of his inexperience during the game, right? He's rolling out to the left, throws across his body, throws a pick. I mean, maybe you get away with that at the college level, right? Maybe you can throw across your body, slightly over the middle, back across field almost, and you throw a completion. Well, you're at Clemson. You're not facing a professional defense, right? And that some of that inexperience showed, I think, because an experienced NFL quarterback is not making that throw across their body, across the middle, unless they have insane arm strength, right? We're talking like freaks like Patrick Mahomes. Kyler Murray will make those plays sometimes, obviously, as well. But when it comes down to it, he has arm strength, but that's one of those plays that shows your inexperience, especially because it's not like his receiver was open. He makes a bad read, a bad play that he would have made in college and might have worked in college, but it will not work at this level. So I think along with Urban Meyer, you have Trevor Lawrence that needs to do a little bit of growing up real quick, because guess what? About 4 or 5 fucking days and you're going to be back out there. Don't make the same mistake. Like, you're getting paid millions of dollars now. You're not, coming back, going to class being like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. But hey, guess what? You're still that guy. At the end of the day, if you're not that guy in the NFL, you're going to get replaced because teams are investing in you at this point. So I think his inexperience showed. I think he's going to fix it, but it was one of those things where you could definitely see the inexperience early on.
Right, yeah, and I think he was probably trying to force stuff because he saw they were down, so he was kind of panicking. I mean, and I can't really, like I say, I'm not putting this on him. I mean, I feel like if they'd have given him the proper support, he wouldn't have made those mistakes if they'd had the lead. It's just they were down and out, and I put a lot of that on Urban Meyer because he was the one that was supposed to come in and get the stuff fixed around Trevor Lawrence, and build him into a quick contender. I was thinking, some college coaches can do it. Like, for example, Jim Harbaugh. He was able to come in and fix the 49ers up on the fly and get them to be contenders. So I was like, well, shoot, maybe if Herb could be something like that, then the Jags could actually have success right out the gate. But I don't know. Someone's telling me, like, I don't think Herb is Jim Harbaugh. I think this could be a rocky rebuild here, especially considering that the 49ers, when Harbaugh came in, they had pieces. It was just they had coaches like freaking Mike Singletary, just guys that just weren't really cut out to be NFL head coaches. I mean, no disrespect to Mike Singletary. He was a great player in the NFL, but I don't think he wasn't a head coach. He was going over his head trying to be a head coach. So, but yeah, Harbaugh was that dude. It's just Herb, though. I mean, for one, Herb came in without a whole lot of stuff to wear. And it's like he didn't even really upgrade it all that much. It seemed to me the Jags defense they were the total trash heap like they were last year. And their O-line was garbage. It seemed like they couldn't get any sort of running game established. James Robinson was non-existent. And I mean, J-Rob was solid last year. You got to get that man involved. You got to get the running game and the defense into the game, because if you got embarrassed by the Houston Texans, you're gonna continue to get embarrassed unless you make the proper adjustments.
Oh, I agree. But hey, Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, big ups to him too, man. David Culley, yeah, Tyrod, man, coming off last year where he got his job basically. I mean, that is stolen from him because he didn't even get a chance to really. I mean, his lung got pumped.
Didn't get a chance to keep it, really.
Yeah, I mean, damn, man, I don't think he would have, but still, it's like, bro, like, they did that man dirty. But yeah, he might come in, and I don't think he'll put up the numbers Deshaun Watson did last year. But shoot, if they could, even if they win like 6 games, I mean, that's a great successful season for them, considering a lot of people had them pegged to literally go. They've already exceeded most people's expectations. A lot of people said they'd probably go 0-17, but hey, they're at least guaranteed to be 1.
Yeah, got 1 W.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember last year with Jacksonville. Jacksonville started 1-0, and I think lost all the rest. So I'm not gonna say Houston's gonna win many more after this, but I feel like, though, at least with David Culley as their coach, he's gonna keep them fighting. I don't know if they'll win too many more, but they're gonna compete a lot more. I can tell you that.
The thing about Tyrod Taylor that's funny to me is so I took him. I have a league where I have Tyrod Taylor, Jared Goff, and I'm gonna look here because it was pretty funny.
I was like, man, you must have nice running backs and receivers. Sounds like you really waited on quarterbacks there.
Joe Burrow. I have Joe Burrow.
Oh, Burrow, yeah, that's a nice trio. They all had good week ones.
So I took Tyrod Taylor late, like super late. He was one of my last picks, and it was funny because I literally at this point it was a 14-team league, and at this point by the end of the draft, you're just hoping any of these guys touch the field and score you double digits. So I took Tyrod Taylor because he's on the board, and I was like, well, we don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson. I'll take him. And now I got trade offers rolling in for Tyrod Taylor. And I'm like, yes.
I bet. Oh,
shit. Yep. Last 2 games of week 1, both OT finishes. Minnesota beats Cincinnati in overtime.
Oh, that's the opposite, actually. Cincinnati won.
Cincinnati, yeah. My bad. I flipped it around.
Yeah, MINCIN. Yeah. Just one letter off. Yep. Yeah, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's like running after. It's like, you better give me a fucking W. That was my dub. I came back and this rehab and shit. Like, man, I earned that. Give me that. Man, yeah, big ups to Joey B, man. That was a hell of a performance.
Dude, that was in my opinion the only game of the weekend too where fucking kickers performed.
Yeah, man, your kicker, the one you
damn.
mentioned, the boy from what O'Shaughnessy or something. What was his name?
McPherson.
Oh, McPherson. I knew it was something
Yeah.
like 3-syllable stuff.
I
Yeah,
think I
I
think
couldn't figure it out.
he's
Yeah, he had the game winner there.
yeah,
Yep.
he's from
Yep.
FIU, I think, is where I went to school at. Yeah, he's a rookie actually. That was a good game. I will say that I thought it's nice to see, like we kind of touched on earlier, you got Jamar Chase.
Yeah, buddy, that was
Catching the ball, doesn't need the white stripe or anything.
awesome.
Catching the rock.
50-yard touchdown. Bomb. Yeah, that was great.
I got T. Higgins. I got T. Higgins in a league, which we were talking about off air. Thought it was funny. Everyone's talking shit about me taking T. Higgins early on. I took him, and he's targeted in the red zone, so that's nice to see as well.
Higgins going to eat this year. No doubt.
I agree. He's going to be a red zone target all year long. That's why I took him early. That's what I tried saying. My viewpoint on it, and I know we already talked about this, but for the people listening, my viewpoint on it was this. I took him early in one of my leagues, and a lot of people were like, oh, why are you taking T. Higgins so early? Why are you taking him so early? And my viewpoint was, well, Cincinnati is a team that was literally 30-31 in the red zone as far as efficiency scoring touchdowns last year. Their number one target. Now, granted, you don't have Joe Mixon. You don't have Tyler Boyd part of the year during that as well. But T. Higgins, well, you don't have Jamar Chase. Sorry, yeah, Tyler Boyd. But you don't have Jamar Chase last year. But between Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins actually had a higher reception percentage inside the red zone by quite a bit compared to Tyler Boyd. So my opinion on it was, well, how do you fix your red zone inefficiencies? You throw it to the most efficient guy.
Yeah, T. Higgins. Yeah, Boyd's not the red zone guy. That's
right.
Yeah, Higgins and Chase. I mean, Boyd's solid, but he's going to be just more the possession guy, better for PPR leagues. You know, if I'm in I don't know how many people do standard anymore, but if you do, I would say, yeah, Boyd. I don't want any part of that. Give me Higgins and Chase.
Right, dude. And I told you I thought it was hilarious because this league that I'm in where everyone's talking shit about my pick and everyone's asking me, as soon as T. Higgins catches that red zone touchdown, I'm in the chat immediately. Like, weird. T. Higgins in the red zone. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's the big body dude.
He's fucking huge.
He's like 6'2" or so. No, 6'4". I sold him short. 6'4". He's the biggest dude they have. Chase, Chase is great, but he's not even that big.
Right. He's your vertical.
Yeah, he's 6 feet. Yeah, he's the vertical guy. Higgins is the red zone and Boyd's the slot. Yep.
And I got shares of everyone but Joe Mixon because he's always fucking hurt, and I don't have Boyd either. I got Higgins. Yeah. I got Higgins and Chase both, and Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Mixon, man. I stayed away, but I tell you what, he had a huge week one. Outpaced Dalvin Cook. You know, Dalvin Cook did solid, but Mixon was incredible, man. He did great. The thing is, though, injuries, man, enjoy it while it lasts with Mixon because just beware. He's probably going to get hurt again. So I'd probably say they'll do buy low, sell high real quick. Buy low, Justin Jefferson. Yeah, he was the number 3 receiver this week, but that is not going to last. He's an elite talent. He'll be right back to being the number 1 there sooner than later. And then sell high, Joe Mixon. I don't see it keeping up. That's going to be a throw first team.
I agree.
They're going to throw more. Yeah, that Mixon, sell. Yep.
I agree with that. You can flip him quick for some decent guys.
Yeah, because people seem to love Mixon because he is a dynamic talent. They'll be like, oh, Mixon, I'll take him. It might give you if you offer him like Mixon and a decent receiver for like Kamara, they might do it. You never know.
You know, and Joe Mixon is one of those guys. He is extremely solid. Don't get me wrong. He is a good running back, but fantasy football wise, I'd never take him because I cannot count on him being healthy the whole season. I just can't.
You can't.
So I have had no part of him. And last year I said the same thing, and this year I'm going to stay true to it. I'm going to stay true to it, saying the same thing. I don't care. Obviously, he looked good week 1, right? He's Joe fucking Mixon. He's a good running back.
He's a dynamic talent, yeah, for sure.
But he also played the whole goddamn game. I don't expect that to – I don't know. I just don't see it. It's too inconsistent for me. But the last game, this one shocked me. Oakland beats Baltimore in overtime, 33-27. What were your thoughts on this?
What a game. And actually, they're going to come running at us, too, wanting to correct it. LV now with their Las Vegas debut. Their Las Vegas debut.
God damn, what a habit that was.
I know, right? Yeah, it's kind of like the San Diego thing with the Chargers. A lot of people had trouble adjusting to that. But yeah, man, the Las Vegas Raiders. What a dub, man, in their home opener. Well, last year they played there, but no fans. This is their first year with fans. The Davises were all happy and all that. Yeah, that was a great victory for them because they had basically lost it. Like, they lost it whenever what's his face threw the pick, Derek Carr. I was like, that motherfucker. Like, he chokes again. I was like, a notorious choke artist. Derek Carr does it again. They don't even get the field goal. It's like, how do you not even kick the field goal? You get too greedy. Because they were gonna kick. Remember, they were gonna kick, and then they had trouble, then they got the penalty. I think it was a penalty, and they pushed them back. It's like, we're gonna throw one more. And then I'm like, you idiots. I'm like, you idiots, Gruden, you suck. You cost your team again. but then they get bailed out. Lamar Jackson somehow choked it away himself. It's like Gruden's goofiness rubbed off on him. It was like a choke for choke fest. Like, everyone was just that no one wanted to win. No one wanted to win. It was just awful. But it was fun though. It was, whenever it's not your team, it's always fun seeing that kind of stuff. Like, if it was my Saints, I'm like, God damn it, just finish the game. They're giving it to us. Get the win. But the Raiders,
the same shit sitting here watching the Steelers game. Are
you
fucking kidding me, dude?
Yeah, they're giving it to you on a silver platter. Take it. Then the Raiders did, though. Once they did, and then Derek Carr hit the wide open guy. It was Zay Jones for the touchdown. Wish it had been Henry Ruggs. Could have won me my best ball week. I had a heartbreaking loss in best ball. I may have touched on it earlier. But yeah, anyway, that was just a wild freaking game. That was just one of those. It was a great way to cap off the week. It was just like a crazy game that kind of capped off. It was week one's always crazy because we talk for 6 months plus in the offseason. We think we have it all figured out. Then week one hits, like, well, fuck, we didn't really know all that.
And then week one rolls around and the Raiders are beating the fucking Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. Ravens, I knew the Ravens might be vulnerable, but man, I can't believe their defense did that bad. They had the lead. They had it won. Their defense just choked in the fourth, man. I got to give Chucky some credit, man. The Raiders offense really showed out there in the fourth. Derek Carr showed a lot of guts, and they pulled it off, man. They pulled it off against a formidable Ravens team.
Yeah, man. It was a crazy game. So last two topics here. What's Guru, you're a fantasy guy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure y'all can tell. I always pivot to that if I can. I love me some fantasy football, man.
Who's your biggest week 2 looker fantasy wise? Who are you like? Hey, this is a fucking Sherlock. This is the guy you got to go with. That not like an obvious one. Mm-hmm. We're not talking like don't throw fucking Mahomes or Tyreek Hill in there. Like, who's somewhere like, hey, keep this name locked away. This has got to be your guy week 2.
I got you. Yeah, that's actually a really good question, man. I'm kind of looking at the schedule and seeing if there's anybody that really pops. Like somebody that's just like, man, that kind of flies under the radar, because I mean, like I said, I don't want to name somebody like DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill. We know those guys are what they are. They're those guys. They're the ones that are gonna get you those consistent looks. I'm trying to. What about somebody you're a guy to be like a good flex type player?
Yeah. Anyone.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you all what. This is a name that we mentioned him earlier when we were talking about the Saints, and he's a name. He didn't do much because, like I said, he was shadowed by Jair Alexander. But keep an eye on Marquez Callaway, y'all. Marquez Callaway is going to show out this week. I believe he's going to have a huge week 2 against Carolina. The Saints are probably going to have to throw a little more. I don't think it's going to be another 38-3 beatdown. I think Carolina is going to at least do a little something on us. So I'm thinking Marquez Callaway shakes back in a big way and redeems himself. Strong flex play with WR2 upside. I'm still buying it, y'all. I know a lot of people are going to cross Callaway off. Shoot, some people might drop Callaway. So if anyone is stupid and does that in your league, go scoop him up.
Let me know what league you're in because I want to pick him up.
Yeah, he's Jameis's go-to guy still, I believe. I know Deontay Harris caught the deep ball, but target share-wise, I still think Callaway's that dude. He's He's my he's a dude that I look to have a really nice week too. That he kind of flew under the radar because he didn't. Albie really didn't show out this week, but hell, he had to go up against an all-pro cornerback, so I'm not writing him off, man. He's gonna shake back.
I agree. Marquez Callaway he's a guy. I have him in. It's funny because I'm in a homer league, right? Just a bunch of the good old boys from Illinois, from where I'm from, and they don't. I guess they don't like break things down and look at things as crazy as I do. So I took Callaway in the draft, and they were like, "Why the fuck are you taking him, dude?" And I was like, "Oh my god, you're sleeping!"
Yeah, and I'll bet they're all talking crap. They're probably, "Oh, look, Callaway, one catch. Oh, what an idiot!"
Oh yeah,
like, hold on. Just wait till this week. He's gonna pop.
I'm 100% sold. I agree. I'll tell you one that might not be as far under the radar as that, but I'm a big Myles Gaskin fan this year.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know Hustler was big on him. Every time I hear that bitch Carol Gaskin. He's going to have a big year. Which I kind of, yeah.
I'm big on him. I got him on 2 of my 4 teams. I'm huge on him. I like him this year. I think he's gonna be an animal. I think he didn't. Let's see what he did week 1 here. As far as fantasy wise, I remember. Yeah, I mean, he put up 12 points, 9 carries, 49 yards. He had 5 receptions though. That's why I like him so much. Versatile out of the backfield. 5 receptions. So I mean, he put up 12 points. Nothing crazy. He's not like a guy that really pops, but I like him a lot. I got him, like I said, 2 of my teams this year. I took him right away. I think he's awesome. I think he's gonna have a good year. Now, as far as week 2 to wrap up the show, what's a week 2 upset you see? Now, for those of you that are listening, week 2 will consist of the New York Giants at Washington, the Raiders at Pittsburgh, the 49ers in Philadelphia, Houston in Cleveland, the Broncos in Jacksonville, the Saints in Carolina, the Rams in Indianapolis, the Bills in Miami, the Pats go see the Jets, Bengals in Chicago, the Falcons in Tampa Bay, the Vikings in Arizona, the Titans in Seattle, Dallas in LA against the Chargers, Chiefs travel to Baltimore, and the Lions travel to Green Bay. What's a week 2 upset that you might see? Like it might be a long shot, but this could happen.
All right. Yeah, I was kind of looking at a few that kind of caught my attention as far as like that could be, the upset type category. It's just hard to know which one to pull the trigger on. But I will say this: we kind of touched on everybody tonight. But I mean, this is a game that I feel like, it's 2 rookies in this matchup, and I feel like the underdog could very well pull it off. So I'm gonna say, I get hot take here, big upset, because everybody's gonna pick the Patriots here, but I'm going with the Jets over the Patriots. Zach Attack Wilson shows out as a rookie. I think it'll be kind of an ugly game, I'll admit, but I think Salah's defense, I think the Jets defense, they limited Carolina. They slowed Carolina down. I think the Jets defense shows out, shuts Mac Jones and the Patriots down, and the Jets and Zach Attack do just enough to pull it off. I'm going to say Jets 17, Patriots 13. Jets pull off the upset. Pats fall to 0-2. Belichick's in a tailspin. And then gets my Saints week 3, and hopefully we can beat them again, because I would love it if the Patriots go and fall off and force Belichick to retire. So maybe I'm betting with my heart here, but hey, I'm telling y'all, I think the Jets could very well do this. And they're at home. I think Gang Green, this is their time. This is y'all's time. If y'all going to show that y'all are AFC East contenders as soon as this year, y'all believe Zach Wilson's a real deal, hey, y'all get it. Mano a mano, rookie versus rookie. Zach needs to step up, take down the Patriots and Mac Jones. Show that y'all have a shot. This is y'all's time to do it. Get it done early. Don't dig yourselves a hole like y'all do every other damn year.
I actually love that take. That was gonna be one of mine. So I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna go to my number 2, and this is a fucking long shot. I'm taking Dolphins over Buffalo.
Ooh, another AFC East upset. Man, I'm not betting against Josh Allen, bro. I'm not betting against Josh.
I hate to, but for the purpose of this,
yeah, you love you some Dolphins. You love Carol Gaskin. You love the defense. So yeah, I think Tua though might mess him up, man. I'm not a big Tua
Unfortunately, yeah, I'm not a massive Tua guy either. I got him on one of my teams, but he is on my bench.
Yeah, I think in super flex he's all right, but yeah, and in single QB, no, he's waiver wire fodder.
I think in this league, this is actually a super flex, and I have him still on my bench.
That's good. He's actually a good QB3 because I mean he's got weapons. They've got weapons. Fuller will be back this week, so yeah, is that that you're thinking Fuller's addition could help?
My thing is that Buffalo's facing another extremely tough defense, especially in the red zone. So even if you get there, Miami Dolphins were one of the top teams in the red zone last year as far as turnovers. So I'm looking for, hopefully in this instance, Dolphins to take control in the red zone, make some turnovers happen, and turn it into points.
Okay. Yeah, I could maybe see. I mean, shoot, that's what the Steelers did to the Bills last week. That fake 4-block punt. That's the thing. I think the Bills are going to make some corrections. I think that week 1 loss is going to humble them, and they're going to be okay. Which is, I would say the same one about the Patriots, but I feel like the Patriots are very limited. I feel like there's only so much they can do. Which is, I think Belichick's probably pretty frustrated. He's probably like, damn, it's like I don't really have the personnel. But that's the thing, though. He let Brady walk. He thinks he can do it. We'll see. But I'm not buying it. But hey, we'll see. It'll be interesting, man.
Oh shit! All right, a little bit of week 2, a little bit of fantasy, and the week 1 wrap up. God, it's good to be back. Guru, tell everyone where they can find you at social media, everywhere.
For sure, man. Yeah, it's pretty simple, y'all. At Spencer the Guru on social media, Twitter, Instagram. Go hit me up. I got y'all, man. I answer questions every week. I go live every Sunday morning for those with last-minute lineup questions. I'd recommend get your question in early. Get it in early. Get me while I'm got more free time on my hands because if it's Sunday, I'll get you on Sunday. I don't mind. It's just it's going to be rapid fire. If you DM me earlier in the week, I can get you hooked up early, get you to where, like, it can kind of walk you through your lineup and such. And, yeah, we're going to my goal is to help everybody that wants to, that's trying to get better in fantasy, get better. And, if you put in the time, I believe if you put in the time, you'll see the results. So that's my goal, help everybody each and every year. So, yeah, I'll go follow me on social media. I'll go check it out, which helped lead to my new gig, which is being a betting reporter with the New Orleans Advocate, Times Picky, NOLA.com. All that they're all one now. They're all put together, which is cool because now they're basically like they get the big say in the New Orleans media market, which is pretty nice to have that platform. I've put out several articles now. My latest being my 10 takeaways from week 1. All the links to that are in my bio. The website, y'all, is bet.nola.com. It's got all the content from our other betting writers, Zach and Jim. They got all the, for those that are into just picking this against the spread and all that, they got lines and DFS and all that on there. So it's going to be fun doing that. So I'm going to have a lot on my plate between that and then keeping up with the nation. And of course, making appearances with guys like UBWB, my people that have, always had my back as trying to start this from the ground up. So yeah, appreciate you having me, and it's gonna be a great year, brother.
Hell fucking yeah, hell yeah, dude. Like I said, everyone, we're excited to be back. I'm excited for everyone to join in. New season has started. We're going to consistently have people rolling on through. We're gonna keep going. doing each week. The plan is here to do weekly wrap-ups. Eventually, we're going to start doing a little bit more. There's some plans in the mix. We're going to keep it going. Some kinks we got to work out. But I will say this. I cannot thank you all enough, and I appreciate you all for listening. Please go check out Spencer the Guru's content. All right, go ahead and look at this website right here.
Right. Yes.
Go look at this.
It.
All right. Also, search him up on all social media platforms. This man is a legend. And I will say this. He has my most favorite intro of all time. What's going on, everybody? Is Guru Nation.
Yes, sir.
Fucking love it.
Live, man. I'm telling you, on every live feed, every Sunday morning, Thursday night, that's when we go live on Instagram. I forgot to mention that. Every Thursday night before the game, we're live answering questions. Every Sunday morning before the game, we're live answering questions, and we greet y'all each and every time with a hello, what's up, Guru Nation.
That is one of my favorite intros. This man puts out fire content, fire graphics, fire everything, really.
That's the plan, man. It's just hit them with fire, man. It's just
fire.
Yeah, you got to, man. It's like if you're not, then it's like, shoot, I try to keep the bar set high, man. Keep the heat coming. Keep the heat turned up. Don't want to get cold around here. We from South Louisiana. Shoot, we don't even have winter, man. We just turned up. We just turned all the way up all year. Minus a little bit of rain, which we're currently going through at this moment. So hopefully we're but it's been fun, man. It worked out. They couldn't have done anything outside there. We're just having a good time talking football, bro. It was great, man. Thanks again for having me.
Fuck yeah. Appreciate you coming on. Go ahead and look up everything. This will be live on all podcast platforms here pretty soon when you are listening to this as the viewer. Once again, cannot thank y'all enough. Appreciate you listening. And do me a favor out there, everyone. Take her fucking sleazy.